Welcome to this week's look at the state of the New York City real estate market, where I take a look at the luxury market, the Manhattan market, and the Brooklyn market. I do it because I want you to be informed. It never hurts when you're a consumer to be informed. Welcome to this week's look at the state of the New York City real estate market. This is for the week of January 30th through February 5th. We're going to get started, as we always do, with the luxury market. Before I do, I want to thank the Olshan Luxury Market Report for all of their hard work, bringing the very latest data on what is happening here in the luxury market. Keep in mind that the luxury market in Manhattan means properties that are priced at $4 million and above. So we're going to start with that. There were 29 contracts signed at properties priced at $4 million and above. That is 14 more than the previous week. Condos outsold co-op 17-6. There was one condop, and there were 5 townhouses in the mix. This is a big deal because this is the first time in the last 6 weeks that the luxury market exceeded 20 contracts signed in 1 week. This is the largest total since mid-October of last year, when 30 contracts were signed. So this is a pretty big deal and a pretty great week that we're reporting on. The number one contract was apartment 48S at 50 West 66th Street. It was asking almost $23 million. This is a condo. It is new development. It has over 3,500 square feet of living space. It includes 4 bedrooms and 4.5 bathrooms. It has a 32-foot living room. It opens up onto a 145 square foot loggia, and the loggia has incredible views of Central Park. Ceiling heights range from 13 to 14 feet, so this apartment has pretty amazing volume, and I'm sure is quite stunning. When comes the time, you'll be able to see it in person. So this is a new building, and it started marketing off of floor plans last summer. The listings at 50 West 66th Street are not being made publicly available, so you have to be a little bit in the know to be able to get in to take a look at this project and to obviously make offers. Okay, the amenities at 50 West 66th Street include doorman, fitness center, indoor and outdoor swimming pools, basketball, pickleball courts, a screening room, game room, bike room, and a dog washing facility. The number 2 contract for last week was the 11th floor at 1045 Madison Avenue. It was asking $15.5 million. This is also a condo. It has almost 4,200 square feet. It includes 6 bedrooms, 5.5 bathrooms, originally purchased with the 10th floor, and the sponsor at the time combined the units into a duplex that closed for almost $28 million back in March. In June, however, the duplex was back on the market and it was asking $33.5 million. So back in October, though, they changed direction. The seller began offering the 10th and 11th floors as separate units, and the 11th floor has now gone into contract. The building is called the Benson. It is a 15-unit, 18-story building designed by architect Peter Penoyer. The amenities include a concierge, a roof terrace fitness center, half-court basketball, a children's playroom, a library with a garden, and a pet spa. Wow, both these buildings have really nice amenities for pets, so hopefully whoever is buying them actually has a pet, or 2 or 3. Okay, let's take a look at the stats now for last week. The total weekly asking price sales volume, 204,320,000. The average asking price, 7,045,517. The median asking price, 5,995,000. The average discount from the original ask to the last asking price, 8%, and the average days on the market, 603. Okay, any questions about the luxury market report? Please post those below. I will happily answer them. Okay, now we're going to take a look at what happened in Manhattan. So here's what happened in Manhattan last week. We're going to start, as we always do, with the 1 week look at what happened in the market. Just as a quick overview, though, we're seeing supply coming in to the market, and we're also seeing a little bit of an uptick in the demand. Both are kind of light historically. If we look back over a decade at the supply, we are still quite light on supply, and we are certainly down in terms of contract activity. But we're going to go through and we're going to take a look at the details. If you have any questions, please let me know. My thanks to Urban Digs for providing all of this amazing information. Their study of the market from the Manhattan to the Brooklyn market, market-wide, really helps to keep us all informed, and they help me to help you. So we're going to get started now. We're going to start, as we always do, as I said, at the 1 week look. The supply was up almost 23%. 319 properties came on the market last week. 160 contracts were signed. That is also up a bit, just under 7%. The off-market properties also popped up over 58%. 214 properties went off-market. If we take a look at the 1 month look, we will see that the supply from a month standpoint, since let's say after the holidays, 1,288, that is up almost 235%. Contracts signed, 24.95%. 631 contracts were signed. Off market actually dropped over the month, down a little more than 6% at 740. Buyers, this is really your cue. If we look at the market pulse chart, you will see we are really dipped into buyer territory. Buyers, as I said, this is your cue to be taking advantage and exercising the leverage that you have at this moment in time. And as I always do, I share the very detailed charts with you. These are monthly charts. They're a more detailed look at the supply, the closed sale, the pending sales, monthly contract activity, price per square foot, median sales price, et cetera, et cetera. This is really helpful, I think, for those people who are actively in the market. Those kind of details really help you get very granular on what is going on. Now we're going to go back to the detailed look at the supply. As I mentioned, the supply and the demand are a bit light right now, historically speaking. You can see that from this chart that the inventory has ticked up a bit, but it still remains down overall. The demand pending sales right now, we are seeing that the demand is just kind of hanging steady, not really doing a whole lot. We've yet to see the buyers come back in a really strong way. I would say right now we just don't have as many buyers in the market. But again, we are relatively early in the spring season. It'll be very interesting to see how the next, let's say, 3 to 6 months go with this market as we see more properties coming in the market, as we see very likely contract activity picking up. If we look at this new listings chart, we're down from last year, where we were at this point last year. Remains to be seen. We're still a little early. Hard to know how quickly sellers are going to want to put their properties on the market. But for right now, we're just a little bit light on inventory, which is kind of keeping the market somewhat in balance, although clearly right at this particular moment favoring the buyers. The contract activity, the signed contracts are running 25% below previous year's levels. So we have a little ground to be making up. By the end of this month, we really should be trying to get about 900 contracts signed. And then as we move further into the spring market, March, April, we really are looking at contract activity over 1,000 per month. So we've got a little bit to make up there. So at this particular moment, we are kind of in the buyer's camp, meaning the leverage is a little bit more to the favor of buyers. But because the inventory is really down from what we're used to seeing, we're kind of keeping this holding pattern of, for the most part, the supply and the demand being in balance. We're going to keep an eye on this. Next 3 to 6 months are likely to be very interesting, and we will obviously know a lot more. We're still quite early in the spring season, still quite early in 2023 to 100% predict where this market is going. But for right now, you can see light on supply, a little bit light on demand. Let's keep an eye on this. In Manhattan, we're going to see where all this goes. Let's take a look now at what happened in Brooklyn. So in Brooklyn last week, if we take a look at the 1-week chart, we're looking at the supply being up almost 43% over the week. 173 properties, contracts signed, 95. That's up almost 8%. And the off-market properties, a little over 98%, 115. As with Manhattan, so too is Brooklyn, a bit in a buyer's market. If we take a look at the 1-month view, we can see that the supply also jumped a fair amount, almost 67%. 683 properties came on the market. There were 360 contracts signed. That's down a little bit, 0.55. And the off-market properties also down, 318, a little more than 22% down. Again, though, still in a buyer's market. Take a look at this market pulse chart for Brooklyn. Definitely in the top end of a buyer's market in Brooklyn, but just as with Manhattan, we don't have a lot of inventory from a historical standpoint, and we know the buyers have yet to really re-enter the market. So the buyers in this market really have a lot of leverage, and until more buyers jump in, they will continue to have more leverage, but it won't last forever, because why? Nothing lasts forever, right? So here are those detailed charts. If you're active in the market, I want to take a look at these. Let me know if you have any questions. You can post them below. I'm always happy to answer questions that you have. If you look at the supply, you can see that the supply is 2,895 for Brooklyn. That is up 0.6% year to date, up 5.3% from last month, and it is down a little bit over 9% from last year. So as I said, we're still a little light on inventory in Brooklyn as well as in Manhattan. And if we look at the pending sales, we are also down there as well. 1,455 pending sales for all bedroom configurations and all price points and all property types in Brooklyn. That is down 12.3% year to date, down 9.7% from last month, and wow, down almost 42% from last year. If we look at the monthly contract activity January, you can see that where we were for January, 372, whereas the historical average is well above that, 537. So we still, in January, we fell short in Brooklyn of making it to the sort of the normal number of contracts signed. However, as I said, it's early. We know that buyers are coming back into the market. We have a delay here. When an offer gets accepted, that property may not go into contract for easily a week. And we just don't always have the precise view of where the market is at. And there's always a little bit of a delay. What we're seeing here, though, is that right now there seems to be a fair amount of parity between the supply and the demand, somewhat more to the favor of the buyers, just as it is in Manhattan. But what we also know is that over the last 3 weeks, we have definitely seen an uptick in buyer traffic and more accepted offers. The data just hasn't quite caught up with what is actually happening. over the last few weeks in Brooklyn and in Manhattan. That's it for Brooklyn, and that is it for this week's look at the state of the New York City real estate market. My thanks again to the Olshan report and the Urban Digs report for their wonderful reporting. I will be back next week with the very latest on what is happening in the New York City real estate market, everything from the luxury market to the Manhattan market to the Brooklyn market. In the meantime, take care.